daddy. He was very loved being. Even when he got a little older, like 6 years old, he wanted a younger brother or sister. We were like, no, that's it. We're done. But he was a joy to have around. He was an easy kid. He was very easy, just kind of how he was when he got older.
Growing up with Connor, so it was always like having another brother. I could always just ring the doorbell and walk in his house. So it was just always having another place to be, and always hanging out with him was just another great experience to have. Ever since I was born, essentially, he came to my baby shower as a kid. My parents knew each other. My dad knew his mom through work, and they ended up moving close to each other. Like, who would have knew that would have happened? And we became best friends for 20 years of our lives together.
He's always been the same. Like, we were at the bus stop together since kindergarten. He would never ever be like, oh, I want to do this, like, and get like mad about it. He'd always want to do what everyone else wants to do to like make them happy. He would always make you laugh, and like no matter what, he just had that like goofy little smile. Yeah, the same way he has always been, like always wants to make you laugh, always like wants to do stuff for other people. I don't know, he just like always wanted to make people feel good.
He was just always so goofy, like weird, like even that early on.
For lack of a better term, this is a little goofy white kid.
Just the most goofy, like outrageous, like loud person I've ever seen in my life.
Yep. Fuck you, Chaz.
You're done. He was always uplifted. He was always in the good mood.
He would look at things with such a different perspective than anyone I've ever met.
He was like the one person that, no matter what, like always looked at the good in things.
I never really seen him upset or trying to put someone down.
Just a very just like a warming kid to be around, talk to.
He's just like the fun-loving, caring kid, and you just wanted to be around him. Like, from the moment I met him, I was like, this kid's special. Like, I definitely want to be friends with this guy. Like, I know he's gonna be like a great friend.
And I remember he was really kind to my brothers, and that says a lot about a person the first time they come here, because autistic kids are super awkward, and they do a good job of making you feel super uncomfortable. So I remember thinking that was a really, like, it showed who he was very quickly.
And there was one thing that stuck out about him to me, it was his hands. He had like the softest hands you'd ever feel.
Connor had the softest, like most like buttery soft hands that you'll ever meet in his life. He had baby hands, like.
It felt like he just, whenever he wasn't around people, it felt like he just let his hands marinate in lotion.
Definitely when I first met him back like freshman, sophomore year, that's like how he introduced himself to people, or like how like Owen or like whoever would come up and be like, feel his hands, this kid's got the softest hands, like meet Connor.
So like as soon as I got to know him and like I started introducing him to like my friends in the hallway, I'd be like, yo, like this is Connor Cummings, like you gotta feel his hands, like, and like make people dap him up.
And like random people would come and be like, oh wow, like that is soft. Like,
but like every time like, it'd be like, what are you talking about? They'd be like, oh my God.
I was always into photography, so no matter where Connor was, Boy Scouts, no matter what it was, I always had a camera around my neck. Mm-hmm. So I think that was the start of it. Then when he got like late high school, I think he started to say, he was always taking pictures, but he started out with a phone, then he started out with a small camera, then he started out with the EOS camera, and then of course the grand camera.
He did it with just like so much joy and purity. It wasn't even just like, you know, their photographs. It was just like, you know, these are moments in time for whatever time is that just like you'll never get back. And like he seemed to capture moments like very well.
When he would always stop and look at the pictures and like he'd be like, oh, like that's awesome, like that's fresh, or like whatever, you know. It's like his the passion about it was what made him good at it. He loved it, and when you do something you love, you're gonna be good at it, you know.
I remember when he got his brand spanking new camera.
And then when he got his new Canon Mach 5, I remember him coming over Christmas Day after he got the camera, sitting down on my couch right here and just opening up the manual and start reading through the manual. And then he went outside, he's like, yo, let's go take a couple of photos. And he grabbed the box of sparklers, and I was holding the sparklers, and he was just taking all these different photos. And then that's where the 2016 I'm Ready picture is. It's my hand holding the sparklers.
He would like just like look at it and be like, oh dude, like look at the way the scope is, check out the frame, like look at the lighting, oh it's so nice. And he was freaking out. And I remember I got to take a picture on it And I kept trying to adjust it, and he's like, don't fuck with anything. He's like, stop. He's like, all the settings are perfect for this room. Don't mess with anything. And I was like, okay. And I took a picture of him.
He was really into taking pictures. He wanted to be out. He likes to be outside a lot too. So he's outside. I think that's part of Boy Scouts maybe. Always going outside. Always can see the good things. Can see expressions in people.
And there's one, like, he took me and Chaz where we hiked out to Smoke Meadows. And right by his house, and he was like, yo, like, I want to get like some shots like of you guys sitting on the fence like with like the skyline. And we were like, all right, word. And we were like, it's just a little snowy. And I was like, I remember just trooping back through there, and we all know Chaz is like, man, like, what are we doing, like, there's so much snow.
You were sitting up on the outfield, like, you know, the home run fence, like the outfield fence. Danito and I were sitting on top of that fence and just kind of looking up at the stars. And, you know, Connor, he was like looking for cool positions and like certain places to take a photo from. And he was thinking about like climbing the scoreboard and taking a photo like down below or whatnot. But he was like, dude, honestly, like, he's like, you and Danito are right there. Like, he's like, just keep chilling right there, do your thing. And then he stepped back and he snapped a couple photos from behind us. So we were looking out into the stars. And he told me, I was like, I'm gonna put some cool effects to the sky. Like, you guys will see it later. Like, it'll look dope. And we're like, all right, word.
The sky was just like this purple haze with like just like the most vivid stars like you could see, and it's just like, bro, like how, like what, like how do you even do that?
And then, you know, lo and behold, like I think it was like the next day, he posted the photo up on Instagram and he showed us, and it was wicked. Like, I didn't know Connor could do like, I didn't know how well he could like edit photos like that. And that was the first time I saw him use photo editing in a way where like he really put his own art like into the sky, and it was awesome. It was like one of the coolest photos I've ever seen.
And he's like, oh, like, I want to do this shoot, like it's scary. He's like, I need like a lot of members though.
Threw it in the chat like, yo, we need like 4 or 5 people to come over to be the light crew for this photo. And I was like, all right, word, like I'm not doing anything. So we all went over and we did it in Johnny Odell's kitchen.
It was just him in the middle of my kitchen. And Ant put this stupid mask on, and he held this meat cleaver that we stole from my knife block.
And Connor's like, all right, like, I have this whole like idea, like, we just gotta turn off all the lights. He's like, I need designated like light people.
We used 5 or 6 different iPhone flashlights as our light source, turned all the other lights off, and then he just had like his flash going.
We all, like 6 of us, just held iPhone lights in random positions.
You go over here, like, no, like, raise your hand higher. So we had everybody like in funny, like, sculpted poses, like holding lights.
Like, Johnny, you move to the left. Mike, you move to the right. Like, he was just telling everyone to adjust to his perfect angle.
And like, I don't know, it kind of like made no sense as it was happening, right? So, but like then like he took the pictures of the mask and the knife and whatever, and like he showed us, and like it looked awesome. Like it looked like almost like professional. It was really cool to see. Like
when he took the picture, we were all like, "Yo, Connor, like this is stupid. Like you just took a random photo." But what he really turned into, the masterpiece, was that Instagram photo that you saw. That was absolutely incredible.
What we took versus what like the final product was like totally different, but so sick. Like, so how he like mashed it together was. And the thing is, like, he probably saw it the whole time, like, before we even shot the pictures.
I texted him, I said, I'll meet you over at the, I'll meet you at the doctor's at 4:30. And so we met over there, I sat with him, and I distinctly remember sitting in the chair and him going in just like he was little. Doctor's like, hey, he's fine, don't worry about it, give him a Mucinex, and he'll be fine. Connor came over to me, and he went to say goodbye to me, and he went to leave, and I said, hey, like, get over here, because he was leaving. And I was still talking to the doctor and the girls, because we all know each other for 30 years or 20 years. Connor came back and gave me a big hug and kissed goodbye. And then he went outside, and then I noticed that it took me another 5 minutes, but when I went out the door, he was still there. So he had not left in his car yet. And he went by real slow, and he waved me goodbye and smiled, and that's the last time I saw him. But he, when I started to understand about Twitter and all that stuff later on, at that moment, which is that moment that took him between I was inside and came outside, there was a 5-minute, 7-minute difference, and he was still out there. Mm-hmm. He was tweeting, and what he wrote was, I love my family, I love my friends, I'm blessed, thank you, God. That's what he wrote. That was on that day, which is kind of intense, I thought. And then he went to meet Dimitri, and then they went to the city, and he texted me about 10:15. Told me he was okay, that it was raining and everything was good. But a half hour later, he was gone.
I hadn't seen Connor like the whole summer because he was in Ireland, and this is like the first time I'd seen him in a long time, and we were just like really stoked to see each other. And we had planned, we were probably gonna leave the city at like 7 a.m. We were gonna go all over, dude. We had so much planned. And I was just like, dude, like there's this building that like I've been scoping for a little while. My friends hit it twice. And I was like, this is way harder than what we just did. But you know, I had a really good feeling. I was just like, you know, we could totally fucking do it. Like, why not? And so this building is the Four Seasons, and it's on 56th Street towards like Central Park area. And there's a doorman at the door, and you know, we had to just walk in there very casually and, you know, not saying a word. And so, you know, we sat outside for like 15 or 20 minutes, and we saw this family coming in. It was like, you know, a mother, a father, and then like 2 kids. So we like really got on their hip and like walked through the doors with them and walked through the lobby. You know, they like clock us into the elevator because you needed a key. And so we go up to, I want to say maybe like the 50th floor. And dude, I'll never forget, you know, like Connor, the last like 20 minutes as we're going up there, he's just like, you know, like I don't have a good feeling about this. And I just kept reassuring him. I was just like, dude, like, especially because, you know, this is something I've done like so many times. The only thing that you are concerned about is getting caught by the police. The roof of Four Seasons is like really interesting because it's basically like the top is like this, and then it like kind of breaks down like into levels. And when you like pop the hatch or whatever, you're now like inside the roof, which is like, you know, weird to like, if you have never seen it before, it's kind of confusing to like think of it. But, you know, we pop the latch and, you know, we like get up onto the roof and we work our way onto like the platform. And then it's just like, you know, a 25, 27 foot climb up to this like circular catwalk at the top of the building. And so I'm just like, it's like, you know, drizzling a little bit, and, you know, we climb up the ladder and we're just sitting there just like, dude, like, we're fucking like 63 stories up. The fog is so crazy. We're in the clouds. Man, the view is just incredible. Like, you had Central Park behind us. You had, you know, Times Square like in the distance. It was just like so beautiful, and he was just like fucking in love with it. It had gotten way more foggy than it like was an hour prior to that. And I just remember seeing his face, and he was just like, it was just unreal for him. Like, no, you know, like people pay millions of dollars for those views, and we kind of just went up there and just, you know, saw it for ourselves for free. Man, he like you could just see it in his eyes, just how like appreciative he was of just, you know, this small thing of just him taking him up there. Before we had like hit the building, I had Snapchatted one of my like good friends, and I was just like, dude, like I'm gonna go on the roof of that building, and he was just like, bullshit, like. So I FaceTimed him, and I was just like, dude, like I'm up here, like look at the fucking view, man. It's like one of my good friends from Washington. And, you know, like I'd put my camera down, I'd put my tripod down, and I'm on FaceTime, you know, and all I hear is like something like bang. And it didn't sound like anything like too like big. It sounded like a camera fell or something, like. And I go to turn around, and Connor's not there. And I'm just like, and like I run over to the ladder hatch, and how I take it is he was walking backwards, trying to get more in frame because there's like a live view feature on the camera, you know, so you're just looking through the LCD screen. And how I take it, he was walking backwards and fell through the hole where we climbed up from. And it's only like 25, 27 feet. So, you know, like I look down and he's laying down there, and, you know, he's not moving at all. And, you, dude, I ran down there with like, I grabbed my bag, I grabbed his, the fucking spookiest thing is that he didn't drop his camera with him. I guess like when he fell through the hole, he was able to put his camera down, which is just like, what the fuck, like how did this happen? But it's, I guess, you know, he like fell backwards, put his camera down, and, you know, he fell 25, 27 feet, and he hit his head on like a handrail. And, you know, I grabbed all of our shit and I rushed down there, and I'm like, you know, screaming his name, and there's like no answer at all. It just seemed so unreal, like, and man, so I panicked. I ran out of the building. I packed my bloody jacket, threw it in my book bag, got out of the building because I could not breathe. I felt like I was being like suffocated. And I ran around to the corner. I ran out the building, I ran to the corner, and I got on a three-way call with the police and my mom.
Begin this half hour with the New Year's Eve tragedy. A 20-year-old college student from New Jersey falls to his death while scaling the Four Seasons Hotel.
Connor Cummings was taking pictures with a friend when he fell 9 stories from the high rise.
My parents woke me up, and it was early. It was like 8 in the morning, and they were both sitting in my bed, and I thought I was in trouble at first, because why the fuck would my parents wake me up at 8 in the morning and both be sitting there? And what's really weird is I don't think my mom ever said the words, "He's dead," because I don't think she wanted to believe it yet either. I remember she told me, I think she said, "I think Connor Cummings is dead." And I remember that sentence just being so foreign and like impossible to wrap my head around that I think I latched onto the words "I think" instead of the words "Connor Cummings dead," because in my head I didn't believe it. But I remember feeling so awful that I went back to sleep and hoped that I had just had the most like visceral, awful nightmare of my life. And then I woke up 2 hours later, and there was Keenan's message in the chat that said we all need to be together right now.
I woke up to just a bunch of text messages. It was our group chat was going off. I remember Keenan saying in the group chat, like, "Hey, everybody needs to get together." And all the texts were kind of vague to me, like, "How are you doing, Charlie? Like, are you all right?" You know, and then everyone was meet at Stick's house. And I really had no idea what was going on at the time.
I got a call from Ant, and he was like, "Yo, dude, you need to get over to my house right now."
I got up and went to Stick's.
The only thing that made sense to me at the time was just to be with my best friends. It was just to like, have people together and like be with people you love. Like that was the only way to make yourself feel better and not feel alone, because every time that you weren't with people, you just felt so alone.
You know, I had just seen Connor like 2 days ago, like at Stick's house at nighttime, and he was talking to us about going to the city to take some photographs of Dimitri and whatnot. So when I woke up that morning, you know, I in the back of my mind, I thought, you know, I kind of had that reality, like, you know, I might be hearing something pretty tragic like this. But I waited until I got to Stick's house just to be around my friends and family to hear the news. And it was Stick who I first kind of embraced when I got there. And I was like, "What's up? What's wrong?" He's like, "Connor, like, you know, he passed, man. Like, he passed away last night." And I was just speechless.
Before I got up, I checked my phone and I looked at messages, and then I was like, okay, like maybe this is real. And then I went and checked Twitter, and then it was the only thing there was. Even the people that I didn't think knew the guy were tweeting about it.
I'll never forget, like, Ant's voice when I called him. Like, he picked up the phone and he was just like, he's like, "Yo, man, something really bad happened to Connor." And I was like, "What do you mean, dude? Like, what, you know, like, what do you mean something bad happened to Connor?" And he was just like, "Yeah, he's dead."
And then I clicked on a news article, and I think that's when it was like very, very real for the first time. When I clicked on this news article and it said, you know, like, daredevil photographer dies at 22, like, blah, 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 all these false facts that people just made up to try and get a story out real quick. I remember that really upset me a lot, because people were so quickly trying to turn him into a news story and forgetting that, you know, he was a human being.
Like, he's just gone like that. Like, what do you mean? Like, this isn't real?
Man, it was just so foreign to me. You know, like, my best friend, dude, my absolute best friend, like, we were up on there and we just had a really brief conversation about just, like, you know, how proud we were of each other, and, you know, how we were always going to be involved in each other's lives regardless of what we were doing, you know. But, you know, we promised each other we were always going to be there for each other, like, always.
Even if you weren't like close with him, like growing up and like known him since you were 5, like, you, no matter how you came across him, like, he made an impact on everyone. Like, he made everyone smile, he made everyone laugh. Like, there's not a single person that didn't like him. So I think, like, it just changed how everyone thinks about life, and like how you're like, wow, we need to be like more like Connor every single day.
I don't take life for granted anymore. I don't just be like, oh, whatever, I can just do it tomorrow. I have to do. But what if today is my last day? What if today is my mom and dad's last day? Like, I'm not gonna make them feel like crap. I gotta make sure that others are cared for and loved for as well.
I'm so happy that he lived his life the way that he did, because if he were an asshole, it would be so much harder. First of all, to be like, live like Cons and like be like Connor, because no one would want to be an asshole. But dude was an angel. He was like this perfect little sweet, soft-skinned, like polite little angel.
Man, the dude was an angel, like purity and all of his essence. The acceptance and the love that he shared with you, whether you were a stranger, a mere acquaintance, or, you know, just a person on the street. He looked at everyone as if they were his equal, because, I mean, he understood that, you know, you're me and I'm you, and if I love me, then I love you, period.
It's just the new people that I met, honestly, was where I kind of had just a different perspective, just to be, you know, more open and just more, like, you know, accepting, I guess, like welcoming of anything that came in. Like, even if people said something, you know, my friends or people I don't know, if they ever approached me or said something in a negative way, like, you know, I've always had a calmer demeanor, but I guess after he passed, you know, it's like whatever anybody ever said to me, like, I always just tried to take more of an optimistic look at it.
He went about his daily life just being a good person to everybody, knowing that if you're nice enough to everybody and great to everybody, it'll slowly change their mood. If you show love, it'll make them show love back. The more people show love, the more people want to then show those people that love, and it's contagious, basically. I mean, I feel like there's no other way to live than like that now. I mean, like, than just going through your days, like, trying to benefit as many people as possible, because, like, when it comes down to it, and, like, you're gonna die at any day or any moment, like, what really mattered? Like, the positive relationships you held with everybody and how much you enjoyed your day-to-day life, or like the wealth and like what you had planned. And like,
I look up to everyone that we call our best friends, because all of you have at least a handful of qualities that I think are really beautiful in a way that I haven't attained quite yet. And Connor had so many beautiful qualities about him. So when he died, it was like I wanted to work even harder to attain those things.
Even like looking back, you're like, oh my God, like this is what he was so like above and advanced like everybody else. And I think like as horrible as this was, like he still like impacts all of us like every day. Like he shows us like how precious, as cliche as that is, like life really is, and like how we can't take anything for granted.
The most like important thing that we can do here, like on this earth, is, you know, be a light for others and encourage others to do the same. And he did that effortlessly, just by leading by example. He didn't want you to think like him. He didn't want you to do anything that wasn't outside of you. He wanted you to think for yourself, and he wanted you to be you and not be afraid to be you, regardless.
He should be remembered as a kid who was wiser than all of us and loved life more than all of us. And we should really take a step back to realize your time is limited on this earth, and you should, you know, enjoy yourself and enjoy every moment.
We need to like remember how selfless and like what a big heart he had, and how much he did for everyone else, and how like we need to live like him, like how every day like we need to be like, this is like a great day to be alive, as like dumb as that is. Like it really is. Like you're so lucky you're able to wake up, like be with your family and be with your friends. Like that's a good day.
Looking back on like just how he's affected my life here and like before and now, it's just like nothing short of a guardian angel.
Waking up dead inside of my head will never, never do. There is no medicine to take. I've had a chance to be insane asylum from the falling rain. I've had a chance to break. It's so bad, it's got to be good. And still
He believed there was only one thing, and that was just to be the best person you could be, and that's it, you know? Be the best friend, be the best everything, you know? And I think that he did that, and I think that was kind of his job on earth, you know? He was to spread the word of love and change all these people, that he changed their lives forever, and that I think that with all that, maybe who could say better than that you could change all these lives.
with her pain.